Hare Krishna, a warm welcome to all our listeners and Madan Sundar Prabhu to you also.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
What are we doing today?
First of all, we are meeting after a little break.
Yeah, correct.
So we're going to resume from chapter 1. And in previous session or episode, we concluded somewhere around 31 and 32 verses. So we should start from 32nd verse onwards, Prabhuji.
All right. So, dear listeners, wherever you are in your commute or kitchen or your workout or gym, jogging, office, cubicle, whatever, warm welcome once again. We are taking a bunch of verses now. I'm going to chant Sanskrit. This is chapter 1, text 32 through 35. Kim no rajyena govinda, kim bhogaiर्जीवितेन वा येषामार्थिकाङ्क्षितं no rajyam bhoga sukhani cha तैमेव स्थिता युद्धे प्राणान् त्यक्त्वा धनानि च आचार्याः पितरः पुत्रास्तथैव च पितामहाः मातुला श्वशुरा पौत्रा शाला सम्बन्धिनस्तथा एतान् हन्तुमिच्छामि घ्नतोऽपि मधुसूदन अपि त्रैलोक्यराज्यस्य हेतोः किं नो मही कृते निहत्य धार्तराष्ट्रान्न का प्रीतिः स्यात् जनार्दन. Wow, what a monologue from Arjun. Here is, giving vent to his real compassion or concerned side. Some of our listeners may remember that we looked at compassion from a dual angle, compassion based on a material angle, and then compassion which is wholly spiritual. If somebody wants to understand in more detail, please give us a message, and maybe in our Q&A session, or we can always brush up on these important points. Here is Arjuna saying, "O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudan, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers in law, grandsons, brothers in law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will be derived from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra?" So, one pivotal point, it's like a foundational point, especially with the name Govinda. I'll speak something and then I wish to know what your thoughts are. Go has three meanings as we learn from the study of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially. Go is cows, go is land, our planet Earth, and go is our individual senses.
Okay.
Govinda is one who gives pleasure to all three. So while Krishna was here, Mother Earth was very happy. In fact, she was so happy that she kept intact his lotus footprints wherever he would wander around Vrindavan. So now here comes a point that somebody would say, "Hey man, you didn't tell me that before, that God is meant to satisfy my senses. Goody, goody, that's what I wanted in life." So here is a damper sort of. Govinda is not meant to satisfy our senses. And somebody might say, "But why not? Just because Govinda has the resources, therefore he should satisfy my senses?" I always give an example of a strange example. A US bank robber called Dillinger, John Dillinger. And the FBI finally caught up with him and they said, "John, why do you rob banks?" And his answer was, "I guess that's where they keep all the money. If they would keep money in post offices, if they would keep money in hospitals, in railway stations, I would rob them." So, a very simplistic kind of lifestyle. I want money. Here is money. I rob. I think I catch myself also thinking like this. Why is Krishna not doing this for me? Why is the universe not cooperating with me? In fact, if you remember, there is a whole school of thought. The book came out, something called The Secret, that,
Mm.
hey, listeners, hey, audience, there is a whole universe left for exploiting. You want something, you just wish
Wish.
it, and it comes to you. Again, sorry to say, goody goody. How does it fit the narrative here? Here it is said that, hey, mister, you are meant to satisfy Krishna's senses. And you may say, what? Me, Krishna, who? Never heard of him. So here people say that, okay, I think you people are devotees, right? This is you love Krishna, right? Therefore, you are satisfying him. We say no. Our basis of trying to satisfy Krishna has two very common day-to-day life examples. Our body has a stomach and so many limbs and the senses. We satisfy the stomach and full stop. We don't worry about whether my hand is getting nourishment, whether the left leg is getting nourishment,
Agreed.
whether my nose is growing in proportion to the body. No way. Stomach satisfied, job done. For a tree, I don't see the root, but I know the root because a gardener tells me that pour water here. And then, however tall the tree grows, each and every limb of the tree, the main trunk, the branches, twigs, leaves, flowers, fruits, all get nourishment. So, step one, real life example number one, the body and the stomach. Real life example number two, the root of a tree and the entire tree. Now, here comes the problem. Real life example number three is similarly Krishna, who is the source, the summum bonum, the root cause of the whole universe. You satisfy him. Maybe you may satisfy him not for his satisfaction, but you satisfy him for your
Your
satisfaction.
satisfaction.
Any thoughts on these points?
A fantastic point. So we are discussing the definition of what Govinda. So very important points are brought in. So I was thinking when you were making a point about how Krishna is like a root of a tree. When we water the root, tree is nourished. If we serve Krishna, not Krishna is nourished, we are nourished. There is some substance of the conversation. So therefore, when we take Lord out of the picture, then becomes a struggle for existence. Everyone is striving to fulfill one's demands and desires, and we have the world today. There is an ongoing conflict, always a conflict, and nobody is happy regardless of you're a pauper on the street or you're a very wealthy man. I remember a statement from Mother Teresa when she said, the greatest hunger in this world is not the hunger of the belly, but is of the love, the hunger of the heart.
True.
Which means, I mean, I often say this because people are really striving to take care of their physical well-being. And I often make this point. Imagine if you become the wealthiest person in this world, you have your private island with a mansion, but you happen to be staying alone. Would you be happy? Not at all. Nobody have ever said that, yeah, I want wealth, but not relationships. So in this race of making advancement, not advancement, race of exploiting others, we have done nothing but harmed ourselves and become more lonely and isolated. But when we serve, because that's a point, serving Krishna, and through serving Krishna, we serve everyone else. So when we serve, our happiness lies in there. There was actually a research work done in university, one of the universities in Canada, I believe University of Toronto, and the research was about where does our happiness lies. And the researcher had given a presentation at a TED talk, and I'll very briefly make a point here. And the research subject was such: he had for 3 months he had few subjects, few students, And every day he would give them, or every weekly basis, he will give them some dollars. And he would ask them, do whatever you want. And to another set of subjects, he would tell them, well, you take this money and you buy things for your friends and your family members.
Ah,
Like this, he studied them for next 3 months. He would have given them hundreds of dollars. And he concludes, this is a TED talk. Everyone can search for it. Where does our happiness lie? Something. And he said, those who were getting the money, which was not earned by them, but they were getting the money and not using it on themselves, but they were using it for the service of others. At the end of the day, they were far much more happier than those who were using it for oneself.
whoa, just see.
So happiness does not lie in fulfilling one's needs only or desires only, as the point Shyamananda Prabhuji was making, that when you water the root or when you serve, that's where happiness lies. That's what I understand.
So moving on a little bit here, Arjuna is calling Krishna Govinda, and our acharyas are telling that I think we will repeat this again and again, that the names of Krishna and Arjuna through the Gita, they're just not simple names. They also carry a big baggage of meaning behind them. So if Krishna is calling Arjuna Parth, he's reminding him of his connection with his mother. You are a son of Pritha, so behave accordingly. So here, when calling him Govinda, our acharyas are saying that you call him Govinda and you're not doing anything for satisfying his senses. You're still not in the mode of a cooperator. You're still thinking, I, me, mine. So here he is saying that Krishna is, okay, it's known Krishna is the object of pleasure for cows and senses. But why Krishna is not satisfying my senses now? So the answer is Govinda is not meant for satisfying our senses. Now, a very closely connected point with this. So, does it mean that the Lord doesn't satisfy our senses? No, He does. If He doesn't do that job, it's like putting the main switch in off mode. Nothing will work. So, although everybody in this material world is not a cooperator, this is a place meant for those who rebel against God, still He gives whatever we need. There is a nice Upanishadic verse which says that Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Yo Bahunam Vidadati Kama. There are many eternals, one is chief among them. There are many conscious living entities, there is one chief among them. And it's a very simple thing. There are so many ministers, one is Mr. PM. There are so many employees, there is one Mr. CEO. There are so many citizens, but the president is called the first person, the first lady, or the first man, or the first whatever, first citizen of a particular country. So therefore, we see this in daily life. We just have to transfer this in the realm of transcendence. So if Krishna is accepted, maybe theoretically in the beginning, as the first person, so he's the chief among those who are eternal, the chief among those who are conscious. Ekah, that one is satisfying everybody's senses. But we may say, but I'm not satisfied. I just have iPhone 7. I want the iPhone 14 Pro Max or whatever. I need a better car, a bigger house. So here the understanding is given that the Lord will satisfy the senses of the living entities as much as they deserve, but not to the extent that they may covet. So covetousness comes in the form of a very ugly thing called lobha. And lobha has no demarcation, there is no pariman, there is no one thing which will, I think Mohandas Gandhi has this statement attributed to him, there is enough in this world for everyone's need, but there is not enough to satisfy one person's greed. So this kind of rounds up the understanding of Govinda, and how Krishna does satisfy senses, but not to the extent we covet. Would you like to take it further?
Just want to make, I mean, not directly to the point that you were making. When I read this set of verses, I also like to take a look of how we should deal with people when they are disclosing their problems. In a sense, in this set of verses, it seems like Arjuna is asking a question to Krishna. Like,
Yes.
it looks like what pleasure will be derived from killing the sons of the Dhrashtra? But he's not letting Krishna speak. And neither Krishna is interjecting, he's in hurry or he's excited. I've heard you enough. Keep quiet. Now I'll speak. So I often see this set of verses in terms of how maturely we should deal with each other.
Hmm.
If you want other person to hear you, you have to be a good listener yourself.
True.
So before Krishna begins to speak or before Arjuna becomes ready to hear Krishna, so Krishna has to hear Arjuna fully. So when he has downloaded everything that's there in his mind, and we'll see as it goes, as a discussion progresses, and finally when he's exhausted, then he says, enough. आप भी कुछ बोलो, शांत शांत खड़े हो. So, and then Krishna begins to speak. So just wanted to highlight that because we become very eager and excited to speak. Oftentimes people don't even ask a question. We're good at answering.
You just don't tell me anything. I know everything. Last 25 years I am preaching and I am a counselor and I know everything.
So,
I remember a joke about this. Um, you're talking about how Arjuna is simply just rattling on and on and on. So finally, when we will come to that, hopefully today itself in our multi-recording session, that Krishna seems to say, he didn't say that directly, but he says, hey, your philosophy is so good. And every time I say something, you can, like it in an expert table tennis player, you can just deflect it. My simple question is, why is your philosophy not working for you? What to speak of others? Now, philosophy is something which should be universal. And Krishna gives knowledge which is universal. It worked 5,000 years ago. He mentioned something which was given by him millions of years ago. And there is something in Gita which can work in their audience. I'm speaking to all of you, your lives, my life today. That is the importance of this. So, and mind you, Arjuna is not a uncouth, unrefined, is not a pedestrian philosopher who's just rattling off some. He's not whining. He's giving solid arguments, but they don't seem to work. And that is because there is no purpose. Like, in one sense, Duryodhan doesn't have a problem. He simply has one lobha. The greed is there. I like something, I want it. Simple philosophy. But those who think, especially Sattva people like Arjun, they have all the problems.
very
So,
interesting.
so because he was Krishna's friend, he surrendered. And if somebody is saying, like sometimes people say, why do you need God? Why do you need Gita? I'm just a Sattva person. I do good. I be good. Will the world not be good to me? Tough luck. Tough luck. There could be something which will make your life so miserable, and that time there won't be any thermostat. Your machine may go heating up to the max and you might explode. So there are people, I think many movies and novels, this is a very common theme that somebody is very docile, very mild mannered, and then
Correct.
somebody comes and shoots every relative or destroys his business or whatever. This is just before the interval time. Half the movie is gone and showing him to be very docile. And then he becomes a monster like anything. No way. We need not be in either case. We should just be of that variety where we show up at the office, we check our mails, We get our tasks for the day, we do them. Our boss knows that we have done everything what we are supposed to do. We are happy. Like
Yeah.
a soldier, shoot, shoot. Okay, ceasefire, ceasefire. That's a good soldier. Nice point you raised.
Thank you. Thank you. I guess we had a wonderful discussion on this set of verses.
So I want to wind it up with two or maybe three minor points. I'm saying minor because they're really not very important, but they are mentioned here. Number one, uh, Prabhupada mentions here that people like to show off their opulences, a new car, new clothes, whatever. So here Arjuna is saying that, well, if I win this kingdom, with whom am I going to show off my opulences and whom am I going to invite for the party? Because those who I am supposed to invite are the ones in front of me, they'll all be dead. So that is some kind of consideration. Prabhupada says that Arjuna doesn't want to kill his relatives. And he's slightly hinting that, well, if they are supposed to be killed, why don't you do that job? You know, you're God, isn't it? You do everything. People say without God's permission, not even a blade of grass can move. So you do the killing, I'm going to relax here. And the last point is Arjuna himself is concluding that, hey man, what to speak of this one planet? I won't kill them even if the three worlds are offered to me. Typical, slightly bombastic, but not exactly out of pride, but it is a disappointment which is welling up. And because we are seeing a cultured, a refined person giving his complaints, these complaints are also very refined. In fact, let them enjoy. Let them kill me. Later he says that if that's what they want, but take me away from this stage. I this drama is enough for me. Krishna, if you are the director, just shoot me off, kick me off the stage. But Krishna has something up his sleeve, and we shall be discussing what kind of aggressors are allowed to be killed. Like sometimes they say, James Bond 007 is licensed to kill. Now, where does this come from? Who can give a license? He is in Her Majesty's service, and that's what people are trying to. Okay, he's in government service, he doesn't kill on his own. Do the Vedic Shastra also say that some people can be killed? Or isn't it that non-violence is like ahimsa, paramo dharma? So, friends, we shall be seeing this when we meet next time. If you have anything to add, please go ahead, Prabhu.
I mean, I would say this is a very important question. The current society is always debated.
Yeah.
Capital punishment to be given or not given, whom to be given, when to be given. I guess this is worth discussing, and I believe everyone would be really looking forward to what the perspective with the scriptures and what Srila Prabhupada writes about the aggressors. So let's look forward for the next episode to discuss this topic.
Thank you very much. So, friends, we'll be seeing you next time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.